So today we are going to see what is this business model or what is the data model. Mainly we have to spend more time around data model, like the rest of the attributes, and then we'll just have a walkthrough on few of options available in the business modular. So this is our agenda. So we'll start with the business modular, and one of the component of business modular is a data model. So we'll go through that then. So what is meant by business modular? So the business modular is tool which is used by admin and implementer. So all the configurations and all the setups that can be done. So this business modular, and this is directly connected to the database. Okay, so it's not something. It's directly connected to the database, and it is not something for which we need to start the web server. So it is okay. So direct. So if the web server is down, still you can connect to the business modular. So then the business modular, you can do the following tasks. These are the high level tasks. There are lots of things you can do beyond this, but you can define worksheets, you can define user, you can play around the security, you can define the methods, you can set some system parameters, and then you can define the integration interfaces. So these are the high level or the commonly used configuration or the commonly done setups that we can do from the business modular. Okay, so these are now it is all about the navigations. What are the things that we can do from this business modular? Okay, so the first thing is data model. Okay, so you can define a new data model or you can define an existing data model. So usually if you want to define, okay, we'll talk in detail about the data model after completing rest of other topics. So we are having a separate agenda for data model, so we'll go through one by one. Okay, so then the next tab is the configurations. In the configurations, you can configure the level. So we have seen in our level sessions that once we define a level, then we have to define some additional parameters. So that can be done from here. Configuration levels, configuration series. Then we can define a series group. So that means all your series are you can create one group and where you can club all the series. So that's the one, and then okay. So let's do in this way. Let's rather than just going through navigations, let's directly open the business modular and see what are the things that we can do. So business modular. So data model. Okay, we'll see separately in the configure. In the configuration, you can see the configuration levels. So this is the menu where we will define. Once we define our custom level, once we define that once we do the mapping in the data model, then we'll see that it will create one level and corresponding tables, and then we can define some additional parameters here. So that is what we have seen in the level, and same for the series. So once we define that this is the column which we need to import from the interface table, then it will create a corresponding series in the base table. So this is the series which it has created. Okay. So that is the configure series. Now configure series group. So here you can define a new group. Like if you open, let's go to collaborator. So if you open the collaborator workbench, in the collaborator workbench you can see that there are lots of series groups. Okay, so now how these series groups are defined? These are defined from here. That will open. Okay, so you can define a new group like XX, and then I will add my all XX series. So we have created only one series, which is XX, which is XX price. This is x6 item files. Add it in this group. Next, and finish. So when you open this worksheet designer, there you will see some series group. When you want to select the series, so it's just a categorization of the series. I will show you. So it's taking some time, but configure index. So this index is nothing but these are the unit of measures. Okay. So how to define unit of measure? I'm having one small document on it. So I will share with you. It explains the complete navigations one by one. So that includes defining a custom unit of measure, a physical unit of measure, and monetary unit of measure, both. So I will share that, and I will add this document in that. Just follow the simple navigations. If you want, we can discuss, right? So for this demand management sales and operation planning, this is the component. For this component, currency is USD. If you go to our component, which is it's all together. No, yeah, here is that. Yeah, so for us, we are having only USD. Okay, so you need to define one new currency. Then you have to go to the configure indexes, and there you need to define. Okay, so the first step, what you have to do, okay, define a new currency. First step, what you have to do, you have to go to the configure indexes, and there you have to select the existing column. So there are one way to use existing column, another one is you can define a custom column. But we have ranked, there are so many existing columns. Like if you see, these are the unused indexes, right? So these are the EBS currency. So there are almost 100 currencies that you can import. Okay, so that we don't want, right? So okay, I mean to say, no need to define your own custom column. So you can use the existing, just replace this name with your required name, and then this is what I have done here. We have to define the Canadian dollar, and the table name is that actual. This is the table where we have to load the data about this currency. So what I'm loading the exchange rate. So it's a currency conversion rate. Okay, so the CAD, and this is the currency conversion rate. Then once you define this, next thing is you need to enable that currency for your demand management application. Okay, so you have to go here, create and open a new component. So it's a component level enablement that we have to do. So it's like for this application we can use this currency. So here if you see index and exchange rate, here you can define. Now here is the EBS currency 100. Now it is listed here. So you can just pull it here, and then this currency is enabled for this DM. Now next, once you've done that, then what you will see, do you want to say yes, or rather let's do right now itself. Let's define it. So CAD file, save, and then enable this currency to DM component. Go to index and exchange rate. Now yes, it's actually what we are doing is we are loading the exchange rate. So it's a it's a from and to currency, and then what is the conversion factor. Yes, I will show you that. So this is our currency that I have enabled, and okay, so you was asking me where is the table. So now I have enabled that currency, and now that is the reason you will see this currency under this application. Now this is a table name EBS currency 100. dollar somehow by default it does not have any table. It assumes that there is no any table, there is only one-on-one exchange rate. Then that is the reason it does not need to have a table. This is a what you call seeded currency. So it assumes that whatever you're loading, it's a dollar only. You can change it, right? You can change it. You can define your own currency, set as a default, or you over the screen you can change it. So this is the table. It does not have only two columns, and this is first column is date, and the second one is the value. For this test, what is the value? So by default, our base currency is CAD, USD. So there is no column for that particular. There is no column where we can mention this is the USD. So by default, it is assumed that it is USD, and this is the date and index value. So this is the exchange rate what we are loading. So now the data is there in this database. Now we loaded something value, then bounce the web server. Perfect. So this much only. Now we have done. So we have to enable here as well. So what we are enabling is we are enabling this for price. These are the two values for displaying it. So that was missed. So we have defined that, and now again we need to bounce it. Log out. Come back here. Tomcat, restart. TM, my password. Aggregation, price. Yes, here is the CAD now. So first thing what you have to do, first you have to use existing currency. That's the easiest way. Existing column. Rename as per your need. You can define index or exchange rate. If you define exchange rate, then you have to define. You have to load the data of that conversion rate. If you define index, so that will be your currency, and you will directly load that value. Okay. So that is the difference, and I use that index rate, and then we need to. Next thing is enable this currency for this component in earlier. So we need to go to the configure display unit. What are the units are displayed? So we need to select that for the price. These are the units are displayed. So we have to create a list, and then next thing is load the data, and then bounce the web server, and then you should be good. Then you will see this CAD is available. Now here is the thing. So right now, so this is what I did. So I have shown that what will the value with USD, and once you use a CAD, then what will be the value. So that comparison I have shown. Okay, so now as per the currency conversion rate, it gets multiplied by that. But you need to make sure that that series is having that unit token. So this is about unit. I will share this document as well. And then we have seen index, we have seen display unit. In a display unit, if you have defined a physical unit of nature, then you have to come to the primary or shipping, depending on where you are defined. and then I did not define anything. Yeah, but once you define that, then you will see the value here, and then select the values. So this is another one document where you can define physical unit of measure. So here you will go to now if here you go to the physical configure display unit of measure, and then you will see these are the available. These are the empty columns. EBS, UM, UC, right? So select any one of the column. Now I have select EBS UM 198, rename as per unit. So I have rename as XX palette. Now where the value will be stored in a TEP item. So what is this TEP item? This is a item table. So as this is a physical unit of measure, that belongs to item. So that's why we have to load the data in a TEP item table. Okay, so if you open this your table, then you will see that this XX item description and EBS 99. So that's a seeded column. Okay, then you will load values something like this. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm defining like if my palette, in my one palette of this X item, so this 199016, so I can load 0.02 of this item will be loaded on the one palette. So it's a reverse way, like in how many quantity or how much palette we can fill with this item. So we can fill only 0.02. Now this one item can be filled by whole palette. So you can do that way. So it means that your physical unit of measure is changing per item. Monetary unit of measure is changing as per date. So this is an exam question. Okay, so these are the values we have loaded for item. Okay, so now next thing is now how to load this data. So again, if we are having Oracle, then it is already taken care. And from the Oracle we load that. In the integration we'll see that how this data can be loaded. But if it is a custom, then we have to define a custom procedure where we have to mention that okay, this item, if I load this item, then only 0.2 space of this palette of one palette will be filled. So this way you have to load it, and or another way is we will load the data into interface table. Actually this should be the right approach. So where we load the data in interface table, and then so now this is a TSRC item TMPL table. In this table we will load this value against this EBSUM 99 column. So what we do that, so we'll select this item, and then we'll click on the create unit. So this is what we are doing at a data model. So that means what need to be imported from interface table to base table. So we are mentioning there. So on this screen we are selecting create a new unit, and then we are mentioning all these values here on this screen. Then enable this unit of measure for demand management component. So now that is done, and then browse the web server and ready to use it. So in XX unit you can see XX palette is available. So write unit of measure, unit, then price. So in the same way you will see unit type is XX palette. And if you use that, then it does the conversion of quantity. Okay, so it will not, because this table, this is item specific, right? So it only changes the quantity, it will not change the price. So the same way I have done the comparison here. Okay, so if you see here, it is 80, 59. These are the quantity. Okay, now if you use this unit of measure, it is getting changed to 20 and 15. So depending on the corresponding item and then that conversion rate. So this 80 means 20 pallet, and 59, this 59 means 15 pallet. So we have seen the two unit of measure, monetary and physical, and both are having almost similar steps, but the starting point is different, I will say. That is all about display unit and the units for level. Now, when you define display unit, there is one icon. This is linked to all level. They will see. So what is mean by that? When you select this, so it means that this unit of measure is available for all the levels. Now, if you go to the unit level, then here this assignment will be done. So if you see our level is what we are defining X6 item type, right? So if you see our X6 item, yeah, item price is a series and item type is a server. Yeah. So now here you see it is already done. Okay. Now if you want to disable one particular specific unit of measure for one particular level, then you can do that. Now the question is why we have to do this way. Okay, why this provision is there? The reason is when you aggregate data at higher level, okay, then your unit of measure should be different because number will be high, right? Like if you want to see the quantity to be shipped for one quarter across the business, then the quantity will be trillion million, right? So then you should have the unit of measure in such a way that it will what you call, it will show the less number. It should show the, like in terms of, it will show in either in the tons or either in some kind of kilos. So that kind of, so unit of measure should be changing as your aggregation level is changing. So that is the reason you should have a different unit of measure at a different level. So that is the reason this feature is there. So you can override here from update level, then configure log. So these are the seeded logs which have defined. Then methods, and these methods we will see when we talk about workflow. Those workflow method and another one thing, workflow method, the integration. So these three are connected to each other. So we'll see how to use this, and the rolling profile we'll talk about when we talk about the engine parameters. Okay. Now let's come to the engine. Again, engine will touch base. This update log, these are the seeded. You can define your custom logs where user cannot do anything. So it will be locked. Sometime like here it is defined as your tolerance is less than 0. Then you can mention the one message saying that this is not allowed, this is allowed. So you can define your own one message is like forecast quantity should not be 0. Then come here and then you can mention the condition, select your series, mention the condition, mention the message, and then it just throw one message when user is trying to do something, and it logs that. These last two method, these are we'll see in the following sessions. And the validate business logic engine, that is again we'll touch base on what is this BAL. We'll see in the workflow, business logic, business analyst. There is a workflow for this one. I will show you that in the workflow. Why it is not getting cancelled? Okay, it's cancelled. Then engine, we'll talk about when we talk about Demantra engine and engine parameters. Okay, now let's talk about a little bit on the parameters, system parameters. So it's nothing but it's like some config. It's a one-time setup or what we call as a profile options, or sometimes in a VIP we are having VIP parameters for ACP. We call that as a plan options. So that kind of, this is a configuration screen. Okay, so all the related, so it has categories in this way. All related to the worksheet, it will be stored in the worksheet in the system. So this is about all our Demantra application. It's there for database. These are the values. Then engine. So this engine tab we'll see later. But all the related to Demantra forecasting engine, all the profile options are here. So that engine tab further divided into multiple subtabs. Yeah, by default, Demantra comes with some configurations. Okay, so unless and until it is really stopping your requirement, then you need to touch base. I will show you what are the key parameters. I will not talk each and every thing, but we'll see what are the key parameters. And then about the application server, web server, what are the configurations, then audit trial. So this audit trial is nothing but who has changed and when it has changed. So who has changed this system parameter. So that will be recorded. Because this is sensitive, so that's why the record history will be kept. Okay, so maximum sales rate. So this is one of the parameters. So this is a maximum sales rate. This is a date. This is the latest shipment that was happened on this date. So this is the maximum history shipment date. These are the parameters. So whenever you click on this one specific parameter, you will see one explanatory information about that. So which is a good part of this screen. Then in a system, audit history, no. There is some demand stream. I think it is in engine parameters. Yes, maximum sales date, the maximum sales churn. We are having one separate session on a few parameters, I think, which is in Demantra technical objects. We confirm, yes. So when we talk about how the engine determines the quantity, so these are the engine parameters that we are going to talk. So these are the some parameters we'll touch base. And typically these parameters are enabled when you do the fine tuning of the Demantra. Okay. Yeah. Mostly you will touch base on the engine. So there are like time, this history. So my forecast generation horizons. What is your horizon? It is a 500 weeks forecast will be generated. Then lead. Then prediction season start date now. Data manipulation. I will show one important. Yes. So this is a very important parameter. Okay. So what it asks me that this is a So dmantra uses history quantity by using this expression. So we are loading the history in various tables, right? So let's start from there is actual quantity, then there are some other columns as well. I will show you. Oh no, I have to go to TSRCs. So here we are having actual quantity, then we are having we are having ABS book quantity, then request date quantity. All these quantities are there. Which quantity it has to use for dmantra calculation? There is actual quantity. So that information will be provided by this expression. So it is available for the engine. So this expression will be executed for each and every sales record, and then that quantity will be used by dmantra. So for example, the expression is like, if the shipment quantity is null, then use a book quantity. If it is NVL, pseudo sales, so this is nothing but it's a sales quantity. If it is null, then take a value from actual quantity. So there are various columns, like we are loading book quantity, ship quantity, request dot quantity, right? So if the shipment quantity is null, then what he has to do? So rather than stuck there, it uses this formula and it will determine the quantity. So this is again the standard which is it using. Okay, so now so these parameters are stored in the dmantra's one of the base table, which is something int 0. Yeah, here is the thing. So this is a table where it stores all so it will store this parameter and the corresponding values. Okay, so where if your dmantra, if you change something and if you don't know what to do, what should be the original value, you can directly see from this table. So this is something untouched table, and this table is not linked to anywhere. When you use right, so it will have 0 will have default values. Whatever you make a changes, it goes to 1, 2. Not 2. Sorry, it goes to 1 only. So depending on how you define it, it goes to these tables. So old value will be still there. So if you want to track this, what was the old value, then you can do it from here. And then a tool maintain edit install indexes. So whenever you see there is a performance issue, then you can update the indexes, and no, these are the different indexes, sorry. So these are the currency conversion indexes I was talking about. Oh, here, these are here. Okay, so these are the indexes which are available for dmantra, and what is the corresponding value. We have loaded CAD. So for the CAD, what is the value? It's a like you can update from here if you want to update. So that whole table is put here. Then the same for the time resolution. Here, if you see 4 week on the worksheet, I'm selecting the 4 week, right? Okay, so this is what is meant by 4 week. It's a 4 number. So when I select a 4 week, it means the 4 week, 4 time buckets. So my time bucket is a week, so that means a 4 week. So you can define that way. You can add your own time, your own time unit in this row, in this table. Like you have 52 weeks. What is meant by 52? So like I can define something. And I can say 5. So it means that 5 weeks is equal to excess my time. So this is the way you can define your time unit. Actually, if you have any complex requirement to define a time unit of measure, then you need to update this table, input table. Actually, we'll touch base all these tables and everything during our technical discussions in the inputs. So here, if you see, there is a what do you call it, date. So here you can have your own custom column where you can call these like first these 3 rows, like these rows to this one. This is something my XX month 1, and then another and these 3 will be my second month. So you can define custom unit of measure which is not following the standard linear calculations. Sometimes it's a 5 weeks means 1 month, sometimes two weeks means 1 month. You can define that way. So we'll touch base during our technical discussions. Okay. So basically you want to Alright, if you talk about okay, Demantra or Ora, if we talk about integration with Oracle, then it comes with then it provides that integration feasibility, integration options. Okay, when we talk about integration, I will show you how to load the calendar and how to load unit of measure. But if you have something third-party system, then yes, we need to define it. And of course, whenever we define a custom column, then we have to go for customizations. But if you use a shaded column, then we should be good. So for category or I mean to say label or the series or the units, if you use a shaded column, then the integration is already in place and no need to modify data model. But if you use something, if you add another one column, then you have to go for modifying the data model and you have to define a procedure to load the data. Okay, so now this is the table cleanup, which I think I don't know what is this. Then Oracle session monitor, so it will tell us what are the sessions are active. It's just a list. You can monitor this kind of sessions from backend as well. You don't need to use this. So usually there are some options which you can do from backend, but it is there. Like recompile. If you want to recompile your whole procedure and package, you can do that. Even you can do it from the backend as well. Then database. All these things can be done from backend. Create a table, alter a table, create partition. So same thing you can do it from front end. Like what is a column type, number, and what is if it is a primary key, accordingly it will build the indexes and all. Then procedure logs. So whenever that data model get error out, then you can see what is the problem. You can see that error log from here. So then import file. So if you want to import a file from third-party system, then you can use it. But again, you can do it from backend or SQL developer. Then integrations. This integration interface we'll talk in separate sessions. Then worksheet management, this is already we have seen which worksheet is a public, private, who is the owner, which worksheet is right now open, and etc. Then series dependency. Now this is again, if you see the series, in the series we are having various expressions, like we are having client expression, server expression. So that expression might be different on something else. So if you change something, it get affected somewhere else. To see the dependency, so this screen is there. So like if we select our XX item price, so this item price is not depend on any other series. It's directly pulling value from table. But if I take a baseline forecast, or override, even override. So this explains that what is the dependency. So the client expression for the given series depends on this many series. So the client expression which is used for this series is using this many series. So if you change something like if you change this unconstrained forecast series, then it is going to affect the baseline override. So if you want to see if I change something, what is going to affect, what are the series is getting affected, then you can come and you can see the dependency. Then security, so here you can create a user from Demantra, and then you can define some restrictions around that. So let's take an example of DM. So DM user, what is the password? Is this the integrated user? So that means it is connected to third-party system or Oracle. If this user is locked, now the permission level. So this is so based on the permission level, you can define some restrictions. So that's why permission level is important, and you should have one admin per data model, per component. So if you have demand management component, you should have only one admin. You should not have two admins. Or one user will be belongs to one component only. Like if you are connected, if you are belongs to demand management, you cannot, you will not be what do you call? You will not be connected. Hello. Hello. Yeah. 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 Even I was also lost the same. So yeah. So I was saying that one component. Sorry, there should be one admin for one component. There should not be two admin for one component. And one user belongs to one component only. There should not be another user for another component. So like there is a one user who is using the sales and operation and a demand management. So he is using the worksheet from these two. Then there should not be a single user who can access these two. You should have separate user for this. It's not about just a worksheet, but usually if you are running an engine, so if you are running this engine which is connected to sales and operation, then you won't be able to run an engine which belongs to DM. So you have to log in as a DM. Okay, then language, first name, last name, phone number, these are additional information. Now these are it's like a responsibility which you want to enable. So these are there are various applications or responsibility which are available. So you can select that. Then again, these are the series level restrictions. Right now, all the series, the component is having 466 series, and this user can access all the series. Okay, then same for there is only a security restriction, and then same for filter. You can have a restriction like operating unit. So DM user should access only vision operation. he should not access the rest of other operating unit. So you can define that kind of restriction here. And then in the code, then you can mention, okay, this user belongs to this group. So this DM user belongs to collaborator group. So you can define some restrictions at the group level. You can send some workflow task at this user group level. So for that, the grouping of user is important. So you can do from here. Security. Now these are the group. Again, this group is having this many users. You can add multiple users to this group. Now user group is a collaboration, and this collaboration user group is having this many users. It's like an assignment. You can do it from here. And then, so the component. So now this is a setup, or this is a security level setup at the component level, like an application level setup. So this is the DM component because I'm logged in as a DM. So the DM is the admin for this demand management. So that's why it shows me only one component. If I log in as a SNOP, then it will show me SNOP. If I log in as a PTP, then it will show this PTP component. So as I mentioned, for each component there is only one admin. So I can see only one component here. Okay. Now this component, this is the description and all. Now let's talk about series. Alright, so these are the series. Total number of series are available 837, but we have enabled only 465 series for this DM component. So if you define any new series, you need to make sure that this series is enabled for this component or not. Okay, next one is series. This is an indicator for the series. So now, so these are the average X6 price. So these are the what do you call series indicators. So now this node is available to this XX item price series. If you want to do that, so this is the series indicator. So on the series level, you can see some indications, indicator marks or something. So that indicator, the one of these is in nodes, and then some plan scenario, and all these are the spare part planning CTO. So typically, if you want to enable nodes at the series level, then you can come here and okay, this is a series indicator enable for this XX price. So you can enable that. Then the next one is level. Now again you can control the level. So like which level should be accessed by which component. Like if it is a promotion level, then why you need to enable for DM component. So that's why it is at the application level or the component level setup that is there. Now our one is XX item type. So this is our level. So here you can mention no access, read only. Just right click on that particular series and you can mention access. So system default means whatever the security restriction that we applied through collaborator workbench administrator, that will be followed. Okay, so that is the one. Next one is these are the unit of measure which are available. You can define, if you define your own custom unit like X6 palette or something, then you need to come and you need to enable that here. So this is XX. If you define X6 palette, then you need to come here and you need to enable this. So now this is index and exchange rate. So whenever we define new index or exchange rate, we have to enable here. Then worksheet for level. So if you recollect our discussions for open with the functionality, so for open with functionality, we came here and we define association between the worksheet and level. So that we define. So that you can define here, worksheet for level. Or So this is where you can select for organization. If somebody do the right click on the organization, then it will show this demand and item analysis worksheet. You can launch it from there itself. Then engine profile. So how many engine profile? If you define something a new engine profile, then then you can enable this for this component. So for this component, it has enabled only this many. Just for sake, I will enable base and patch, and I will enable all. So when we talk about the engine, then I will show you how to select the engine profile. So for each engine profile, like this base, so for the base engine profile, we'll have different value for all these engine parameters. So again, the same for batch. Batch will have something different purpose. The POS forecast, point of sale forecast. So for that, demand stream might be different. For simulation, there is another one. So all these are engine profiles which you can define, and then accordingly you can enable this to this component. And you need to mention who is admin. So the admin is DM and the corresponding password. Okay, so that is all about the business modular. Okay, let's talk about data model. Okay, so which we skip. So never define a new data model, because if you define a new data model, the problem I don't want to. Otherwise, it will be override my existing one, or I don't want to go to that option at all. So yeah, when you for new data model, we have to do from scratch. So what is the sales date series? What is the quantity series? Then what is the item series? What is the location series? So we have to define all these, not series, levels. So we have to define series, levels, the unit of measure, everything. Not database object, but basically you will be defining almost a new B mantra. So which we don't want, because already there's lots of things are there. Just modify these things and you will start using it. So usually for implementation, you will use existing data model and then you will play around that. So DM and SNOP. Then this is the introduction page. This is our name of this data model. Now here is the unit of measure, the minimum unit of measure, time bucket. So our time bucket we have selected as a week. You can select as a month as well. So that means that you are losing your granularity at the week level. So all the data will be, so shipment might be happening on the hourly basis or daily basis. So all this data will be clubbed together, and that becomes your 1 month data. There will be only one record against that particular one month. So you cannot trace back what is happening at the week level if you select the month. So this is your minimum time bucket. So now if I select the week, then we have to mention what is the starting day of week. Typically in the Gulf countries, starting day of week might be a Friday. Thursday or Friday, I think so. Or Tuesday, I don't know, somewhere it is the mid of the week. Saturday. Yeah. So for them only this vision is there. Because you want to aggregate the data on which day. So I'm saying that for me, aggregate all the data on the Monday. But for them, they can say, okay, aggregate all the data on the somewhere Tuesday, Saturday, or whatever. Now, how you want to aggregate? Aggregate the data from so aggregate the data and show on the starting of the week, or aggregate the data and show end of the week. So again, this is another decision that we can take about. So there are the two values: forward till end of the week, do the aggregation, go forward and put it there, and backward. So that means the starting of the week. So that means aggregate everything and show that the starting of the week. Okay. Okay, so if you say, like, if you are having, let's take example, the first Jan. So you are having some shipment data on the Jan, first Jan, second Jan, third Jan, fourth Jan, fifth Jan, sixth Jan, and the seventh Jan. Okay. Now if you select the starting of the week, then means that all the week data will be combined, will be clubbed together. That cumulative quantity will be shown against first Jan. Okay. Another option is end of the week. So that means all the quantity will be combined and shown at the end of the week, which might be a Friday, which might be 5th of Jan. So where you want to aggregate, so depending. And this option is not there for month, because by default for month it will be first day of month. Okay. Now the next one is data structure. Now you want to import a data from your legacy system. It might be Oracle, it might not be Oracle. Now how you want to import? Here you want to use one table structure, two table structure, three table structure. So one table structure means sales, location, and item, location, and sales. All these three will be in one table or one file. Okay. If you use a 2, so that means your location and sales will be in one table and item will be in separate file. And three table structure, three table means there will be a three table for, one for item, one for location, one for sale. So usually three table architecture is used, but it's easy if it is one table architecture, but with respect to data and records, it is preferred to have three table architecture. So that is the next, and then next option is what I selected here. I have selected three table, right? Now the next thing is how you want to import the data. You want to import the data from Oracle table, or you want to import the data from the text file. Okay, so if you say Oracle table, then you need to mention the Oracle table names. But if you mention the text file, then you are getting a different screen now. So there are the two ways to go. So let's go ahead with the Oracle table first. So Oracle table, then it asks what is your table names. So these are the table names, and that is the reason we always use the TSRC item team here. You can change this. You can use your like access item, access location, access sales. You can define this table with all these columns, whatever the column you want, and then select this table here. Then if you start the pulling the data from this table. But our Oracle integration always works with this table, because Oracle dumps the data in this table. And okay, so these are the table. Coming back, when you select the text file, then if you see there is additional option will be added, that is a file location. So next one is file location. You have to give the directory name, server directory, what is a file name, what is a name, what is a delimiter, what are the columns, what are the these column types, varchar, character, and all. So there are the two options. So there are the two options to load the data. One is Oracle table, another one is a text file. Both can be possible. Now the question is, if it is a text file, then are we directly importing data from text file to base table? No. There will be one staging table, and it uses the staging table. In case of text file, it will uses the text file, then go to staging table, then base table. But if it is Oracle table, then it will be directly from staging table to base table. So there are the two steps, and here there are three steps. Now you need to define, because I have selected this Oracle table, then I need to mention this table name that we have seen. Now this is another important thing. To run a Modular application, you should have minimum these three conditions. Okay, So the location is from the location. So in the location you will have the customer site and organization. These will be connected with the sales TMPL, and from item it will be item code. So that's the three conditions which I mentioned, like TSRC location TMPL, and the corresponding column name is D item site code. So this is the customer site. Is matching with the sales TMPL site. Item code is item code from item TMPL is matching with the sales TMPL item code, and location or code is matching to sales or code. So these are the three. When you define a new when you get a new demonstration application, there will be additional conditions. So there will be additional condition. If you want, you can delete that. And how to delete that? Just right click on this. So there are two options: add and delete. So I can add. Like here, what you need to do, just drag and drop here, and then corresponding from the table, then you can drag and drop here. Okay, so this is the way you can define the conditions. But I don't want this condition, so I'm going to delete this. So these are the minimum three, and be of brand. With this three conditions, you can run whole your $4 billion business. So you don't need to have a very complicated conditions. If you add more conditions, more validation will be done when it is getting imported from the staging to base. Okay. Like the demand class from the location should be matching with the sales demand class. You don't need that. For Demantra, if you want to run an engine, these conditions will be sufficient. Now this screen is we have already seen. In this screen we can define a new item level, a new series, then unit of measure. So these kind of things you can do. Now here, if you go at the bottom, then it will what do you call it? You can do the root level setup, but if you do the right click and then if you right click on existing one and then do the right click, then you will create a parent record for this child record. So just you need to make sure that, and then that's it. Always you should remove the illegal characters. If there is a like hash, explanatory, not hash, yes, hash and then single quote, double quote, colon. So these will be removed by default. Okay, now coming to the build data model. If I change my time model, if I change my time, like earlier it was week, now I'm going for month. Okay, if you change your time, then you need to select the runtime bucket. And if you select this runtime bucket, what it does that it will wipe out this data from input table, and it will reload data. Now this input table will have data about will have a data about the dates and causal factor. Okay, so Demantra automatically reload this data with some base causal factors. We'll see what is mean. I think we have seen already what is mean the causal factor. So that causal factor data will be stored in this table along with the sales state, along with this horizons, history dates, all this date pattern, then the unit of measure, time unit of measure will be stored here. So everything is here. Okay. So it will wipe out this table and it will reload the data. Because if you see, like here, the 1st August to 8th August. This is 1 week time span, right? So when you do this, if you change to month, then first it will delete and then it will move to the 1st August to September, 1st September. And for that you need to select this option, run time bucket. If you have not changed anything related to time, you don't need to select this option. And once you click on the upgrade the existing data model, then as we have seen, it detects what you have changed. Like you might have added a new series, new unit of measure. It will detect the change and it will accordingly modify the procedures, alter the tables, create the tables, accordingly do that activity. So that we have seen already in the series analysis. Okay, so that's all about data model. Let's see whether anything is remaining. So data model wizard, it will do all these things. Data model that we have seen. Yeah, it's pretty much. So that's it